The war on consciousness has been ongoing since before every single one of us were born, except it's only become widely even more apparent over the last few years since everything's been going on since 2020. Now what we get to do, once we can see and most importantly feel what's going on within our hearts, is we get to take measures as an individual as to what we get to do to create change. Because as much as they have disempowered us to believe that as an individual we cannot create change, we truly can. Because what happens is once we create change within us, what that does is that creates a change within our energetic field and aura, which ultimately ripples out to the people within our lives. And the more we land into our conviction and our strength and our surety and our confidence within our message, then what we get to do is we get to speak about this in full conviction with the people in our lives, however we choose to do that. And by using our voice, the power in our voice, the power in the frequency that we deliver, what that does is that activates other people. And what this ripple effect ultimately does is it creates waves, which ultimately creates tsunamis. And this is what creates true effective change. So if you're sitting there thinking that you have no part to play in this, you really do. You have a very, very important part to play in this game that we're currently playing, in this war that is currently happening towards every single one of us. This war is not a war of religion, of countries, of land, of resources. This war is a spiritual war. This is a war against our consciousness and against our individual and collective power, as well as the knowing of the limitless creators that we are. Yes, it starts from school, but it's so much bigger than that. And what we really get to do is we get to really be intentional with where we put our focus and where we put our attention and where we put our energy. Because where our focus goes, that's where energy flows. This is what happens in the creation process. This is how we create our individual lives and ultimately the collective experience. And when so many people within the collective are focused on fear, on the negatives, on toxicities, then this is what gets to be created within the collective experience as a normal. And this is why if you look into the narrative, if you just zoom out and just look at everything, this is why the narrative focuses on the toxicities, on the traumas, on the negativities, on the fear, because whoever's in control knows the power of focus when it comes to where our energy goes and what it creates. So once we start to learn this, if we're a bit skeptical, which I was when I first came across this, we get to play with this for ourselves in our own individual reality. And then we get to see, oh, okay, well, this is creating good change for me. And then we realize how powerful we are in the creation of our own lives, but also in the creation of the collective experience. We all do this together. We learn from people who we resonate with, that can teach us what it is that we require to know to get to where we want to go. And then what we do is once we learn, we then teach our people. We then speak about this. We then talk about this in full conviction and confidence because of everything it is that we've created. We must acknowledge the that's going on. Of course, we must acknowledge it. It's not good. It's abhorrent. It's new. But we must use this as fuel for forward movement in the creation of the reality it is that we wish to experience as an individual, but also the reality in which we wish our collective to experience. This is how we create a better future for ourselves, for our family, and ultimately the planet as a whole.